going on, everybody? It is Friday, August the 13th, 2021. It is 1:20 p.m. Good afternoon. I wanted to start off with we're just going to do a single chart today. This is the Cardano chart. I just got done watching one of BC Backer's new videos. I suggest you guys go watch it. If you're not following him, he is a must follow, in my opinion. He is the best TA guy on YouTube, period. He's pretty conservative about things, which I appreciate, and he's, I don't know, his guidance has led me exactly where I've wanted to go every step along the way. As usual, none of this is any financial advice, tax advice, investment advice, or anything like that. Do your own research, make your own decisions. Do not do anything based off of anything you see or hear on this channel. So anyway, the reason why I had this chart pulled up is we went over all the charts together yesterday, and we were talking about how the reactive area is the 618, the 702, and the 786. That's where a lot of these things happen, and what we've really been waiting for is to see one of these assets kind of take the lead. We need to know, is the bull market in full effect again, or are we going to get rejected in this zone, roll over, and potentially drop down into a bear market? Again, that is not what I anticipate happening. The narrative does not suggest that. The market sentiment does not suggest that. But the reality of it is professional traders and risk managers at this point, they do take profits. That is a fact. That is not an opinion or speculation. So based on that, Cardano has been the main asset as far as, we're looking at like the top 25, top 10 assets. We're not going to base, the 1200th listed coin on CoinGecko for guidance as to where the market's going. I think that would be extremely foolish. But my point is that Cardano, who has beginning to go on its bull run, or on its path up, has broke through the 618, ran right past the 702, almost to the 786, and now has settled back down right below the 702, which tells me a little bit of profit share taking going on there. And we are going to watch this very closely because in the previous bull runs, there is usually you have leaders and laggers, and they've been BC Backer has been attributing what Cardano is doing to what Litecoin did in, I believe, 2017. Go watch his last few videos. It's really interesting how he's tied those two together. I mean, the structures and stuff are almost identical. It's really really intriguing, at least in my opinion. But what he was going over is, following through the weekend, we're going to watch Cardano, because if Cardano starts to blast up into here, it's very likely that you will start to see a lot of these others follow. A lot of them. I mean, everybody's looking really green right now. Things are looking great. Will they continue, though? That is what we all need to be aware of. So that is the main reason we're sharing the Cardano chart on here today, is just to watch that. It has done what we are waiting for other things to do, and now it's just a waiting game to see, do we hang out in here for a little while and go up? Do we hang out in here for a little while and get shot back down? Time will tell. Moving on from that, Bitcoin is back above 46,000 on low daily volume as altcoins outperform. Seasoned investors, according to some, are increasingly active, with data hinting at a strong uptake in altcoins beginning August 9th. I'm not going to go over this article in depth. It's got some cool stuff. It'll be in the description. But one thing I wanted to just explain is, as altcoins outperform Bitcoin, keep in mind, if Bitcoin went to $1 million, right? And we'll just round up and say we're at 50K now. If it went to $1 million, you're at a 20x. XRP only has to go to $20 to do the same amount. So if you put in $1 million into Bitcoin and it goes to $1 million and does its 20x, you have $20 million. If you buy XRP 20 million worth at excuse me, or $1 million worth at $1 and it goes to $20, you still have $20 million. Do not get caught up in the big and shiny thing. This is about percentages, people. That is something that, in my opinion, is one of the most important ways to look at these assets. The actual dollar amount, it doesn't really matter. I mean, if you bought them all at, 0.000 something and then they go to 50,000 or they go to $1, obviously there's a difference there. But when you're playing the long game, in my opinion, it's about percentages. It is not about the actual price. So seeing Bitcoin get a 20x and go to $1 million, highly, highly unlikely. In my opinion, will probably never happen. Seeing XRP at $20, I have a feeling we could see that at the end of the year. And that is speculation, but we'll see what happens. So just remember, altcoins will almost always outperform Bitcoin from a percentage standpoint because they're so cheap. It's just math, very basic stuff here. This article goes over how there is still time to fix Congress's crypto tax mess. The Senate has failed to amend a provision that could cripple the U.S. cryptocurrency sector, but the game is not over yet. A lot of these senators are starting to really send in all these amendments and stuff, and congressmen and stuff. They're all trying to really get this amended. Not all, so a small group of them. It's really, really interesting. It says, I'm sure everyone in the Senate really gave it their honest, well-intended best. I'm sure passing laws so broken they're simultaneously industry-destroying and unenforceable is a once-in-a-lifetime event in that august body. I'm sure they're not making it or just making it all up as they go along for the sake of political convenience. I feel like this article has been started off with a little satire, folks. And they just go over, even after this whole legislative process is done, there are often significant opportunities for industry and taxpayers to provide their input into the rules and regulations. The IRS and Treasury are going to take into account not just the legislative language, but the legislative history. A statement from one of the sponsors of the provision of the floor of Congress that gets into the congressional record that is fairly persuasive legislative history. Again, this article, I'm not going to read it completely. It's just, they're basically pointing out how there is still hope, even if this bill gets passed 100%. There are things that can happen. And here, let's check out what this guy says.
Yeah, we're really excited about Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies in general. From Bitcoin getting back up to that 44,000 level, Ethereum's around 3,000. The entire industry is pushing that $2 trillion market cap number. And despite the bad news, whether it's in the infrastructure bill and people having issues with that, or one of the biggest DeFi hacks in the history of crypto, people remain bullish. And especially you're seeing institutions continue to buy up Bitcoin over time. And so we're excited to see how it's going to react once or if it gets to its all-time highs and if it's able to push through that and if the interest is great enough. Yeah, we're really excited about...
The reality is it has to get through those retracement levels before it gets to its all-time high, which is what we've been talking about. But I do agree, I am still remaining massively bullish. This is a global thing, guys. This is not an American thing. U.S. Congressman and CFTC Commissioner call out SEC for its power grab over digital assets. Without getting too deep, whatever, I'll just read this a couple statements here. Chairman Gensler's latest move to ask Congress for jurisdiction over non-security exchanges is a blatant power grab that will hurt American innovation. Given the distinct nature of digital assets, policymakers must be thoughtful and deliberative in legislating this space. That's why I introduced H.R. 1602, the Eliminate Barriers to Innovation Act, to bring regulatory certainty to market participants and regulators. We need smart policy made through a transparent process to ensure innovation and job creation continue in the U.S. We don't need another backroom deal between Gensler and Elizabeth Warren, which we have already dealt with. And that is me adding that end, already dealt with. Chairman Gensler's latest move to ask... Oh, wait. No, they're just repeating. I will include this, but I do agree with all this. I mean, Gensler has came out and said about multiple things where the SEC doesn't really have enough power to do some of this regulating that they want to do. And quite frankly, I don't think they should be able to. I don't think an organization run almost 100% by ex-Goldman Sachs people needs to be in control of anything, quite frankly. That is an opinion. You can do with that what you want. It is a revolving door. Speaking of that, when you hear incumbents, think white shoe boys. And if you want to know who the white shoe boys are, you're talking Goldman, JP Morgan, BlackRock, State Street, all the big guys. All the big guys. Listen to this.
I think promoting innovation and promoting competition means also bringing this inside the public policy sphere. I don't think they compete. I think it's together. I think that if you recall as this committee that there's the issuer-based crypto, which is kind of the SEC and these ICOs. There's derivative crypto, which the CFTC has, but it's going to have some challenges. And then there's the whole cash commodity crypto, which is 70% of this world. That's where I think Congress has a real role, and to think about, is there more authorities? I say incumbents versus startups. Startups feel that they can beg for forgiveness after they sort of mess up with the law enforcement. Incumbents feel they've got to ask for permission. And so right now there's an imbalance right now where incumbents aren't in this space and startups are, and you might want to address that. MIT and I are available anytime if you need any help on any of this. Thank you.
Oh, Gary, we're going to get into you here in just a minute. SEC Gary Gensler, live Shanghai. Which one do you think of as securities, Gary? Let's listen to this.
Which ones do you think of as securities?
It's pretty clear, and the Supreme Court has actually spoken about this many times. If somebody is raising money, selling a token,
start the Ether pre-sale in a couple of weeks. So the Ether pre-sale will be an opportunity for anyone to purchase Ether. Ether is the internal currency inside of the Ethereum system, sort of like the XRP and Ripple.
and the buyer is anticipating profits.
What we're hoping is that sort of similar to what happened with Mastercoin. If that slice is something like 20%, and then the value of Ether goes up by 5, then we basically have the entire initial BTC that we got all over again.
Based on the efforts of that group.
About 100 people that are working on Ethereum right now.
Myself leading the protocol design.
And we also have branding teams, we have marketing teams.
That fits into something that's a security.
Yeah, so if you're holding ETH and you're one of these people that think that's the end all, you might want to pay attention to what's going on, because it might not be long before the SEC's coming after you guys too. Here it goes right here. David Schwartz, shout out to you, my friend. He posted here, Poloniex has agreed to settle charges for selling digital assets that were securities. The SEC said which assets were securities, right? Right? Of course they didn't. We're going to get into why here in just a second, on why this clarity is actually a weapon, or this lack of clarity, excuse me. Here's a question from John Deaton. We know that Texas and New Jersey and a couple others at this point have taken issue with BlockFi. Has the SEC or this is just the SEC's page, excuse me. Has the SEC done anything? If not, why? Have they opened an investigation? Douglas Bliss was the one who argued to Judge Netburn that the SEC has yet to take a position on Ethereum. And then you go over here, and what's interesting, the lead attorney for the SEC is now the attorney for BlockFi. Gary Gensler, what kind of criminal syndicate are you running over there? That is a very, very good question, and we're going to get into this a little bit more. John Deaton started a petition that has over 30,000 signatures in a year in relation to the Ripple versus SEC case. These 30,000 signatures are of the very people that you are sworn to protect. Do they not deserve a response? And what goes further into this is, here's your petition update, and this is in the end of July here. Our petition to Gary Gensler, with over 30,000 signatures demanding a regulatory framework for crypto and an ethics investigation into Jay Clayton and William Hinman, has been referred to, get this, the SEC's Office of Investor Education and Advocacy. Question marks and exclamation points for days. We received a notification last week from the OIEA attorney, Lisa whatever, that our petition was sent to her office, which helps people to invest wisely and avoid fraud. And let me just open up that notification so I can include that in the description. She also writes in what appears to be a formal response that the OIEA might or might not respond. But our petition had nothing to do with investor education. It was about the SEC's duty to investigate the conduct of its officials and set clear rules. It was sent directly to Chairman Gensler. Gensler should heed fellow Commissioner Hester Pierce and Elad Roisman, who said, "We know folks have questions and confusions persist in the marketplace. It is important that we start providing clear and timely answers. SEC, stop stonewalling and answer our petition." This is going to have to get a little louder, guys. I mean, they are just totally ignoring what is happening and the cries for help from the retail investor, and it's unreal. Here is that SEC response, which is total bullshit. Here's Jeremy Hogan saying, "I know that Gary Gensler cannot and will not answer this. The point we are highlighting is twofold. One, There is no clarity. It took me a couple of hours of research to figure out that the answer is probably Ether is a security depending on about 5 different variables. So cannot. 2, lack of clarity allows for selective enforcement. The SEC has no incentive to have clarity because it would force them to enforce per clear criteria. First, it is not set up to enforce all violations, and second, arbitrariness is power and power is money, so will not. And this brings me back to the whole Goldman Sachs thing, man. These guys Goldman is so embedded in the SEC, they call it the revolving door for a reason. Even Elizabeth Warren tried to stop Jay Clayton from getting in there. She didn't mind Gensler coming in there, which is probably more of a political thing, but we're not going to get into that. This guy here says, wouldn't a valid Ripple defense be to demonstrate the enforcement action is capricious by demonstrating that there are other comparable currencies that have not been targeted? And Jeremy Hogan, rightfully so, says that is one of Ripple's strategies. Let's go, guys. Couple other things to touch on. The successful launch of the XRP card isn't just about earning crypto rewards, which is great. It's also about the future of the community. Check out the latest episode of our podcast featuring the XRP card project leads, so-and-so and so-and-so. I have gotten this. I do suggest you guys all get over to Global ID and get your Global ID set up. It is awesome. It is a digital ID. You can upload government photo IDs. You can upload your, oh my God, why can't I even think of what I'm trying to say? Like if you have a college degree, you can upload stuff like that, any other types of credentials. If you have a vaccine passport, which is becoming, more and more common in certain parts of the world, that can be uploaded into it. And it basically puts all this information into one digital ID. And instead of having to provide all these things over and over again, you can simply use your global ID to, just incorporate it all in one shot. It's really cool. They provide with the XRP card. I was one of the first 5,000 to get in, which was super cool feeling. It made me feel pretty exclusive. I hope that 5 million people have it by the end of the year, if not more. The awesome thing is that I believe because I got in early, I think I start off at 4% rewards that are in XRP for any money you spend on here. So basically you would load money, USD onto, or you can sell your assets, but I like to load my USD onto my Uphold account, move it onto my card, and then I can pay my bills that I pay every month anyway, and I get up to 4% in XRP rewards for every single dollar I spend, which I think is fantastic. So I do suggest everybody go check that out. And then here is a little bit of this.
5, 6, 7x for looking closer to 5, 6, 7x for Cardano. I'm looking 5, 6, 7x. Same.
So $10 XRP?
10 to 12, I think, is where we're going to probably end up at. I think could be higher though. Look, do not sleep on that thing. It could be higher. Looking closer to
BitBoy weighing in again, and with that, man, this is going to end the video for me. I found a clip where David Schwartz was really going on about how they had met with regulators every week for years in an attempt to avoid the mess that they are in now, because they knew that this is what was going to end up happening, that the SEC would be able to come out one day and just say, hey, even though you've been fully transparent with us for all these years, you should have known what you were doing was wrong, even though you've been asking us for guidance along the way. Unfortunately, that clip was part of a clip that had some music that I'm almost positive would have gotten me flagged, so I will not be sharing it. I'm going to try to find that real clip to share it with you guys, though, because I thought it was really, really enlightening. You can give me a follow on Twitter at TruePerception3. I'll be looking forward to see you guys there. It's slowly growing. I think the little COVID break we had to take kind of slowed us down a little bit, but we're trying to get things rolling again. Make sure you like this video, give me a subscribe, hit that notification bell so you don't miss anything. And yeah, I got a bunch of referral links over here in the About section. I got the private Facebook group over in Facebook. It's still pretty dead, but I think that's going to pick up as we start to rage through the crypto market again. I have my Twitter links, Uphold referral, Coinbase, KuCoin, Unstoppable Domains. Here's the private Facebook group, a BitTrue referral, Binance.us, Nexo, OpenSea account. That is where my NFTs for my photography are. I need to update that as soon as the XRP Ledger has DeFi available. I will be releasing all my NFTs on the Ledger. And yeah, guys, that's going to do it for me. Just remember, I have got to get to 1,000 subscribers, and then after the 1,000 subscribers, I have to get to 4,000 view hours, and I got to do all that within the first year. We're only a few months in, so we got plenty of time. I'm not worried about that. But when that happens and I actually receive my partnership and that whole process takes place, I will be doing a giveaway, and I am pretty dead set on it being $1,000 worth of crypto. It'll probably be assorted cryptos. I might do 2 or 3 winners, that way more people can win. I'm not exactly sure yet. I don't know if I can do it on YouTube. I might be against their community guidelines and all that stuff. I got to look more into that, but wherever I can do it, I will be doing it. If it has to be on Patreon or whatever, I'll be figuring out a place to host that. So let's blow this channel up. We only need 693 more subs and quite a few more view hours, but that's fine too. Let's get this thing rolling. I will see you guys on the next one.